I got into college, and then I started doing this program that's run by Rick Gorman, and it's run at the youth center. Steve is also very heavily involved, and he does a really great job directing traffic in that realm. But it's a basketball skills program called BST, where um, it's high school level, college level skill development. And there was a specific summer, and it's interesting. And it was actually I remember this very vividly. It was the summer after my sophomore year of college, and I was going into my junior year. I was 20 years old, and lack of better terms, I just mentally was not into it that summer. For whatever reason, I was not feeling as passionate about basketball as I had been throughout my entire life. And as a result of that lack of passion, kind of with that passion kind of burning out, fizzling out at that point in time, my performance at BST was affected, as well as my demeanor, my ability to take and accept feedback, and push through adversity. And you and Rick, and I know I thanked you in it, and that's one thing that was challenging. And again, it was a growth thing for me, where it took me a few years to really realize, like, when you guys are being transparent, like, you guys weren't trying to put me down. You guys weren't trying to, tell me I wasn't good. You guys weren't telling me anything like that. You were, in fact, trying to do the opposite. But were you guys perhaps giving me some of those tough love moments? Probably. And at the time, did I not want to hear some of those tough love statements? Probably, just because of where I was at mentally and emotionally, and how that affected me then physically, in terms of not being able to do the things I would normally do. Because the summer before that, um, I had a pretty good summer in terms of my engagement, my work ethic, and my overall level of improvement throughout the few months. But it was almost like a complete 180, where the summer before, 19-year-old Jimmy was like determined, motivated, driven, doing all the extra things. And then 20-year-old Jimmy was just not having any of that. And you guys definitely probably were thinking, like, what the heck's going on? Um, so I was curious, what were you and Rick kind of hoping for, in terms of like trying to be transparent with me, and like what was really fueling you guys, in the sense that, like why didn't you give up on me? Because looking back on it, like, you guys could have just kicked me out of the program, and I know you've done that before to other folks. And you know but because of the fact that BST is a very transparent program, and it's basically, like, you're either with us, you're on the ship with us, sailing towards this goal, or you're not. So I was curious, what were you guys thinking in terms of, trying to be honest with me, and also, like, what made you want to keep trying, and not give up on me?
Sure. So I also think it's important to preface that, what we aim to accomplish at BST is maximizing who the players in the gym are, but also the people, right? I think there's kind of a focus on getting the player better, but also hopefully, if we're doing our job, the person is improving. And we do, I think, create a pretty intense environment. I think it's an extremely challenging, difficult environment. Um, whether it's um, the segment where in order to go home, you have to finish these certain drills, or you know, um, just trying to make each drill extremely challenging, extremely competitive,
Yeah.
to hopefully provide that growth for both the player and the person. I think about our philosophy at BST and my own coaching philosophy. I think the non-negotiables, right, are, and I stole this from Rob Colbert, who I played for at Keene State, but he always would say, your effort, your energy, and your attitude is a non-negotiable, right? Um, and I think that summer, Jimmy, the 20-year-old Jimmy, um, I think your effort was always there. I don't know if 20-year-old Jimmy's attitude, right? I think it was an ebb and flow. Um, and then I think your energy was mostly negative, right? It wasn't upbeat. It was almost like you had a fixed mindset instead of a growth mindset, which, again, as a 20-year-old, Look, I think that's a really difficult part of your life in terms of figuring things out. I mean, I'm 31 and I'm still trying to figure a whole lot of things out, right? In terms of how
Yeah.
I can be a better person, a better coach, a better teacher. So by no means do I have all the answers. But when I think about, us trying to be transparent with you, I think we were really trying to coach you and make you better. Um, and a lot of it revolved around your attitude and your energy, right? And I think so. I think that's number one. I think number two is Rick and I had known you for a very, very long time. Um, and I think we knew what you were capable of and we knew the potential that you had. Um, and I think that was probably the most frustrating part that summer for us because, we knew the Jimmy Warden potential and we were just, right. I think you could say probably you weren't making the progress that you were hoping for. And as coaches and as teachers, we weren't helping you make that progress, or there was a disconnect. Um, and that did cause Jimmy for some, I would say, difficult conversations, right? Or some pretty intense moments where we got after you on the court in front of 15, 20 people about your energy, about your effort, about um, maybe your negativity or beating yourself up. And that's where I guess I'm so proud of you and the person that you are. Um, did I ever think that summer that 20-year-old Jimmy would be hosting a podcast, a successful podcast called Warden's Wisdom? No, I didn't. Um, I didn't. If you told me that 8, 9 years ago, whatever it is, I'd probably tell you you're crazy. But I think this is a credit to you for kind of seeing that, realizing that, um, and moving forward and becoming such a successful young man.